Hello, I'm Rachel and I welcome you all to Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Mimi Tang. Mimi is CEO at Prota Therapeutics. Prota is an Australian biotech developing allergen oral immunotherapies for the treatment of food allergies. Here at Kalkine, we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market and help you understand how you can create multiple passive income streams. It's great to speak with you today, Mimi. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Very interested to learn more about Prota. Could you tell us more about the company and some of the fascinating work you've been doing?
Yeah, so Prota was spun out of the Murdoch Children's Research Institute, which is based in Melbourne. And it really has an exclusive license to technology that was developed in my research group at Murdoch Children's Research Institute. So for the last 15 years or so, my group has been working towards developing a treatment for food allergies that induce remission of allergy. And so Prota's focus is exactly that. What we're doing is we're aiming to bring a remission drug to children with food allergies, and our lead product is a treatment for peanut allergy.
Now, you've had some successful results in your peanut allergy trial that was later published in the medical journal, The Lancet. What can you tell me about that trial and its results?
It is a fantastic outcome for Prota and also for my team at Murdoch Children's Research Institute. It was a large 200-patient study run across 3 sites in Australia, Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne being the lead site. We tested 2 different treatments actually, a proprietary fast escalation high-dose peanut oral immunotherapy, which is the treatment that Prota is developing now. We also trialled a treatment that combined that peanut oral immunotherapy approach together with a probiotic. And of course, we had a placebo treatment, or also known as a dummy treatment. And we treated patients for 18 months. We then tested them to see what the benefits were. We first tested for something called desensitization, which is where you increase the level of protection that you have. So someone who was previously able to tolerate 1 peanut, let's say, might now be able to tolerate 10 peanuts or a bag of M&Ms. Then we keep the patients off treatment and we retest them in a proper food challenge to see if they have gone into remission. And they're the 2 sort of efficacy outcomes from the trial. What we were able to show was that both treatments were very effective at inducing remission of allergy, with around half of the treated patients achieving this outcome compared to only 5% in the placebo group. But on top of that, an additional quarter of patients also achieved something called high-level desensitization. So we were protecting them against essentially a standard serve of peanut, a bag of peanut M&Ms. Now, there are 2 other key findings from the trial that are very important, not just the fact that we have 2 treatments that work, but actually both treatments were also very effective at improving quality of life for children with peanut allergy. And this is so important because really that is what patients and families carry with them every day, living with this chronic condition. So the lifestyle restrictions that come with having to avoid peanut and also the unpredictability of having a reaction cause very severe reduction in quality of life, psychological distress. And this is the biggest burden that children and families live with in the setting of food allergy. And so we were able to show that Prota's treatment improves quality of life quite substantially. The second additional important finding was that this trial followed patients up for 12 months after stopping treatment. And we did that so that we could really understand and show whether or not the remission outcome is better for patients than only being desensitized. And we were very excited with the findings because really there was a very clear difference in children who had remission compared to those who were only desensitized, even though those children were desensitized to quite a large amount essentially a standard serve of peanut. So if you were in remission, you were half as likely to have a reaction and half as likely to use your EpiPen for a reaction. In addition to that, you had a significantly better quality of life than children who were only desensitized, and also compared to the children who were still allergic. So we're very pleased with these results in that they validate Prota's PRT120 therapy.
Well, as you mentioned there, it can be so debilitating for allergy sufferers, particularly with peanut allergy in children that we do hear so much about, and sometimes can actually be fatal. Are we seeing a rise in the number of allergy sufferers globally?
Yes, we are. You know, there's always been this question, is it just because we're more aware or is there actually an increase? And the evidence would indicate there is actually an increase in the prevalence of food allergy around the world. The rates have gone up much more quickly and earlier in Western countries, but certainly other regions are catching up very quickly. We think it's related to the modern lifestyle, the fact that we are exposed to a less diverse range of good bacteria. Our diets have changed for the worse, with more processed foods and less healthy fibers and non-digestible carbohydrates that are helping the good bacteria in our guts to survive, and also perhaps a reduced exposure to UV, believe it or not. So look, there are lots of different things in our modern environment. Researchers are still trying to tease it out. We do understand, though, that the microbiome plays a big role.
It's fascinating research, and obviously some parents can be desperate to help their children if they do suffer from such allergies. How much do you believe the pediatric peanut allergy market is worth?
Yeah, independent research has shown that the pediatric peanut allergy market is growing rapidly and is expected to be worth $3 billion by 2027. You know, 1 in 10 babies has a food allergy, 1 in 20 children. So there's a large population of children affected by food allergies out there, and peanut allergy in particular is lifelong. So we anticipate that there will be a substantial market for a remission drug.
And Mimi, you secured Series A funding from One Ventures and you are looking to raise more. Can you tell me how much you're looking for and what this funding will be used for?
Yeah, so Prota is now raising 20 million US, and the purpose of that funding is to advance our phase 3 program. We'll do a number of things. First and foremost, we will advance our drug product development. We'll also collect additional clinical data on our current patients. We'll establish a presence in the US. We want to expand into the US, and ultimately we'll be conducting our phase 3 trials in the US and Australia. Sorry, I should mention the most important thing, which is all of that is to ensure that we have what's called an open IND, which allows us then to conduct our phase 3 trials.
Fantastic. And just finally, I'd like to ask you, what is the future for Prota? Where do you see you going geographically with the company?
Yeah, so I guess I started on that. The goal is for Prota to expand into the US. We want to build a team and have a presence in the US. We know that the US is a large market for food allergies. 88% of the market is likely to be in the US. So definitely that is our target in the first instance. Ultimately, though, we are hoping to be global. From our perspective, our vision is to transform the way that peanut allergy is managed today. Right now, all families and children have is avoidance as an option. And as I mentioned earlier, that brings with it quite a substantial burden and distress for patients and families. So in Prota's view of the future, no child should be burdened with living with their peanut allergy. And we do hope that we will make a very big difference bringing the first remission drug to patients.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, Mimi.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And with that, I will sign off for now, but stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.